Hey everybody, you ready to start this show? Let's go. Buk Talk Radio time. All right, you ready? Let's go and do it now. All right, welcome to this week's edition of Buk Talk Radio with Outdoors Dan on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. Thanks to everybody listening to the Outdoor Call Radio app right now. Appreciate you as always. Thanks to our friends at Woodhaven Custom Calls. They help us out with the Midwest Grunners and the Ninja Intimidator. I got the Midwest Grunner right here in my hand. We're going to have a fun show for you tonight. We're going to be talking with Steve Stolz. He's a Woodhaven Custom Calls pro staffer, and we're going to be talking about deer hunting in Missouri, which is always really nice. Let me check this real quick. All right, I got that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get him on the line as we speak. All right, one ringy-dingy.
Hello?
Steve Stolz, is that you?
It is me, for sure.
All right, well, there you go, Steve. Welcome to Buk Talk Radio tonight on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. How are you?
I am great, Dan. Good to be on your show.
Well, I appreciate that. I was excited when Mr. Scroggins sent me the hit list, and I saw that you were on there, so I'm glad we could get everything firmed up and get you on here. I really haven't talked to you in a while. How you been? How's things going with you?
You know, I just retired from the fire department, and I'm here in Iowa permanently now. I'm an Iowa resident. I've been an Iowa resident for 12 years now.
I didn't know that. I thought you were still down in Missouri.
Yeah, I bought a small place and to get ready for retirement, and just moved everything up here ahead of time. And then I bought a bigger farm here 2-3 years ago. So I expanded, and now that I'm retired, I'm up here basically full time. Now my wife still works. She's still got to work. She's 11 years younger than me. She still works full time. But I just retired from the fire department July 1st.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yes, sir.
That's exciting. Well,
42 years. 42 years.
That's really good. You know, it's amazing how many things have changed. I went back home, 6-7 months ago, and drove around some of the south side of St. Louis down to Gravois and down 55 a little bit. And Steve, I've been up in Iowa now for 24 years. I can't believe how much back home's changed since I moved up to Iowa that far back.
You know, I started coming up here in 1990 when we started, right after we started Drury Outdoors. And I fell in love with it up here. I'm in southeast Iowa down here, on the Missouri border. But I really gained a lot of friends that now are my neighbors, that have become lifelong friends. And so when I went to purchase a farm, I wanted to be around those people. What I mean by that, just good people, neighbors, friends, that I've established kind of a life with. You know?
Sure.
And you just can't beat. What I will say, for all you that are in Iowa listening to this, I might have been born and raised in Missouri, but I'm going to die in Iowa.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't think I told my brother and my mom I'm probably never coming back. So
no.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Well, I got to tell you, you and I were talking a little bit about deer hunting and stuff before the show, and we got a chance to visit a little bit. I know it's been kind of a weird year for me. It sounds like you've been having a weird year as well.
Yeah. You know, there are a lot of factors that why this has been a tough year. You know, if for those that are listening, if you've shot the buck of your lifetime, you've had a great year.
Yeah.
But, in general, it's been a tough year, and there's been a lot of factors that have contributed to the fact that it's been a poor rut. One of the things has been the drought, probably big first and foremost. Well, the drought caused an EHD outbreak throughout the whitetail country here in the Midwest.
Well, they're saying southeast Iowa, the EHD impact there is the third worst it's been in Iowa's history, from what I'm hearing from the biologists.
Absolutely, we're going to run probably anywhere from 50 to 70% of a kill. Now, there are different. You may or may not know this, but there are different variants of EHD. Mm-hmm. The variant of EHD is very similar this year that they had in 2012, where we did lose about 50 to 70% of the herd. Mm-hmm. It's a variant that's more of an equal opportunity killer, and it kills them slower, and it makes them sick for a while. Some will recover from it. Most will die from it. But what had really affected the rut was you had a lot of deer that were infected by it, but they weren't showing signs of it. However, it affected their rut activity. It made a lot of the herd sick, which suppressed the movement. That coupled with warm weather, and then the third final, probably the nail in the coffin, it was the bumper crop of acorns in the timber. Kept a lot of bucks, very, very local, very, very suppressed movement, because they didn't have to move, because the acorns are right there at their feet where they back in the cover where they bed.
Yeah.
So a lot of just it was a perfect storm for a terrible rut.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler, it's good to see you. Tyler in New Jersey is saying hi. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you watching and listening tonight. It's really kind of fun when you get out there. You got your anticipation built up. You've been putting out cameras since June. I don't know about you, Steve, but Philip Vanderpool, P. Vitty, and I and Larry McCoy. I don't even know if you know. I moved over. I retired Outdoors Traditions, my TV show, after 20 years, and I moved over with Larry McCoy and the guys on Respect the Game TV. 3 years. So Larry, Phillip, and I, about 3 years ago, we started putting out mock scrapes in June with using pure whitetail, and it's just nuts how many buck pictures we get from mid-June, middle or end June till when we start hunting. It's a great way to take an inventory and habitualize deer to hitting those scrape lines that they. Yeah, get them coming in. Even on starting a mock scrape, you start that early. They get used to coming in, and you can maybe have an opportunity. But you get all that done, and then it just the flow does not go the way you think it's going to go. It's very frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. I have a theory about scrapes and scents, and I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And this is the world according to Steve Stolz. This is not a biologist talking. But I truly believe that a upper end buck, a fully mature buck, feels as if that when they smell another buck smell in a scrape, whether it's June or September or middle of November, they have to urinate over it.
Yeah.
They have to cross urinate over it. I believe that they, in their mind, in their herd hierarchy, feel as if that's how the doe is going to select them through the health of their urine.
Well, it's their social media.
It's their social media, and so right, wrong, or different. This is my theory. It may not be true. Just what I've observed. What I have observed, Dan, is when I do put those fresh buck smells out, I'll typically get my biggest bucks pretty fast on camera at those locations.
Yeah.
Which tells me they're not wasting any time to come and cross urinate over that buck smell. And look, make no mistake, it really has no bearing on whether you kill that buck or not, other than the fact now you know he's there. So now you're in the game. Even if you only get one picture of him, don't make any difference. He's there.
Yeah.
He's right there.
Well, and you get all the bachelor groups that time of year too, and you just get to see a lot of different deer. Hey, Tony, what's going on, buddy? Happy New Year. Good to see you. It's just a fun way to spend the summer getting ready for the fall. But Steve, I haven't even pulled my bow back in Iowa yet this year. I've had so many just 2.5. I had some really nice 165, 170 class deer. I had several of them on camera, and I don't know what happened to them, but they kind of moved around a little bit. I don't know if they're across the highway on me or I'm on a river system, which is really nice. We get a lot of travel on that river, and it's kind of weird. And right now, like you and I were talking earlier, I've got a lot of my deer right now. They're just broken up, so I'm not going to shoot them busted. So
Yes, yeah, I understand. I think that the fact that you're by a river drainage, they will follow river drainages quite extensively, sometimes a little further than normal. Um, they'll move for doe groups. There's all kinds of reasons why they move. Every buck has their own personality,
yeah,
and most are home buddies, most. But some have that personality where when it comes for the rut, they'll pick up and move. They'll kind of go rogue and visit land and territory that they're not familiar with to breed, and then they'll return. Some will leave and stay gone, and others will leave for a while, maybe even 2 or 3 years, and then return back where they grew up. So it's just like people. Humans have the same behavioral trait. Some stay home all their life. Some move to California and never return. And some moved to Iowa and never returned,
yeah.
That we were talking about. But others, like I said, for the most part, the majority of them pretty much stay homebodies. They pretty much stay in that same little tiny core area.
Yeah. I don't know if we had such a drought this year. This is the second year I had decent food plots come up, and one of the farms that I hunt we planted, and then I had one farm that the cattle got in there and they just mowed it down, and it just didn't the chicory and everything was gone. So that's probably got a little bit to do with it. But we've also got beans and corn on both farms, so there's food there for them. Steve, the way I was taught, it was always if you got food, water, and cover, you should always have good, decent deer populations.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So
yes, I'm not a big. I know cattle is part of. I mean, it's business.
Yeah.
Deer and cattle don't get along that great. Deer and horses are fine.
Yeah.
But deer will. If pay attention, if you have cattle on a farm, go to the parts of the farm that the cattle are void or they stay off of, and you'll find you're better deer hunting in those areas.
Absolutely. Bill and Carrie, good evening. Happy New Year. Good to see you guys. Naked Buckhead, good to see you too. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. It's kind of funny, Steve. It's one of them deals. We're part of Iowa. Are you south central? Where are you at?
I'm in southeast Iowa, right on the Missouri border.
Okay. Okay.
I'm in Van Buren County.
Yeah. Did you guys get any snow today or last night?
No, just nothing but rain. In fact, as you know, I was going to go hunt.
Yeah.
And at my age, I just refused to go out in a soaking rain. While my experience has been when the when a front is coming, whitetails are active.
Yeah.
But when the front is active, the deer are more inactive.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy because we got 2 inches of snow on my farm down the one lease I have, which is it's southwest Iowa. It's about an hour from Des Moines going west and a little bit of south, but yeah, a couple.
So you're down towards Osceola and that.
No, west of that. I'm actually going towards Creston, past Creston and stuff. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, going. But yeah, we got a couple inches of snow. So with this colder weather, hopefully that stays on the ground for a while, and that should get them in the food. We got some standing beans and standing corn, so late season should be good if I can find one that's not broke.
The key, I just did an article with an outdoor writer on why deer disappear, why your target bucks disappear during late season. The two biggest factors are food source and weather, and one is just as important to the other. If you don't have a good established food source, fields are cut. Grain is diminished. Acorns are diminished in the timber. So a big mature buck, what they love to do is they don't want to bed very far from their feed because they're replenishing their calories and nutrients from the rut, and then also building up body fat for the winter. And they'll literally move sometimes miles just because of food source. So if you don't have the groceries in the ground, it's hard. It's hard to gauge or keep big whitetails on your place. Second thing is weather. If you don't have the deep cold, which causes the bucks to want to put more calories on in a short time, which means they have to push out on the feed earlier. If you don't have that good deep cold weather, your late season is not going to be very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Scotty in Oklahoma, thanks for watching tonight. Appreciate you. Always nice to see you. No, if it's colder, we're supposed to get colder weather the next this weekend into next week, so that's going to help everybody. And you're right, they will bed short because they don't want to expend any more energy than they have to when they're coming back.
Sure.
And hey, real quick tip, folks. I learned this 2 years ago after so many years of hunting, but get your mineral out right after season because that's going to help them gain more benefit than if you wait till March or April when you start shed hunting. Get your mineral out earlier than as soon as they're done chasing and you're done hunting. Get your mineral out, and that's going to help them recover, and it's going to help those does with the fawns inside of them too. So, absolutely. We're visiting with Steve Stolz. Steve, tell them what show you're doing now. Where can they see you?
Well, of course, I work with Woodhaven, great game call company, best in the industry, in my opinion. They focus, they're American made, they focus on quality. Their quality control is second to none. I think they're an industry leader in both, in all game calls, especially deer calls, and of course, all game, turkey and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about their new calls.
Midwest Grunner?
Yeah, the Midwest Grunner, and my favorite is the Intimidator, but they're both good.
I like the Woodsman too. That Woodsman's just got a nice sound to it.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, and
what I like.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What I like about the Intimidator is the versatility of it.
Yeah.
So listen. Here's a rubber grunt, and then you can make it into that buck growl.
And long,
deeper grunt. Yeah. And then I also love the snort tube on both of them, where you can.
Yeah.
And it's very realistic. A lot of thought has went into the design of these deer calls. One of the things that I did when I got with Woodhaven, and I've been with Woodhaven for about 5 years, I had a lot of input in design of deer calls over the years with other companies. And I noticed in the Woodhaven line, we didn't have a deer call that incorporated not only a very realistic and versatile grunt, where you can grunt soft, you can grunt loud, you can give everything in between, but also a snort wheeze tube attached to it.
Yeah.
And I got with, I didn't personally design it, but I got with Rip Dickerson, who is with Woodhaven, and then, of course, Mark Stroggins, Kyle Yancey, and that group. And together, we put our minds together and came out with the Intimidator, and then now the Midwest Runner.
Yeah, best $20 you'll ever spend. And listen, when I was filming in Kansas, we had that new Dave Smith doe decoy that they came out with, and we had 23 different bucks trying to make love to that doe decoy using that grunt call. So it was a good 15 days of sitting in a blind, and yeah, we got some good footage. So definitely good call.
Dan, absolutely. But to also answer your question, I joined back with Mark and Terry Drury.
Mm-hmm.
I originally was with them. We started the company back in 1989 and had great times with them. Then I ventured off, did some of my own stuff. Started back with them about 4 years ago, and and of course they developed DeerCast, and that's what I'm a member of, is the DeerCast team,
mm-hmm.
Developing footage and hunts and material for DeerCast. And that's where you can see my stuff. Just go to Drury Outdoors, Deercast, or go to Woodhaven, one or the other, and you'll be able to see. I'm also with Mossy Oak Camouflage still. Some of my stuff is on there, but most of it channels through Drury Outdoors and, of course, Woodhaven Custom Calls.
That's awesome. Hey, Rick Seeker, good to see you. Thanks for watching and listening tonight. Always appreciate you. Thank you very much. So I got a question for you. We're going to do the Woodhaven Call of the Week. And I'm going to throw this at you, and we'll see what's going on with you. If I can find my notes. Okay, where do you go in Big Timber to start your scouting for next season, Steve?
Where do I go? Well, first and foremost, before I even put boots on the ground, I study aerial. I go to Onyx.
Yep. Oh, I love Onyx. Onyx is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And Deercast itself, even Deercast with Drury Outdoors, has a great map application app. But go to a good app like Onyx and study your ground, study your pinch points, your travel corridors, study your structure, your where your bedding may be, where your your transition areas, and of course where your destination food sources are. And that's where I start first, and I will map out where I want to look from that Onyx, whether it's a 90-acre farm or a 500-acre farm. And then you have starting points, and you're not trying to scour every inch of that property. You want to dive in, and if you're going to quick scout, you want to dive in and look at your structure areas. You want to look for sign from last year. Doesn't mean that deer is still alive, but if there's big sign from last year, there's a chance. My money is always on the buck.
Yeah.
So if I go in and I map out on Onyx some pinch points and some funnels and some travel corridors and some inside corners of fields, and I go in and find big, huge rubs from last year, boom, I mark that as possible stand locations. Now, again, that deer might not be alive, but my money is that there's a probably 75 to 80% chance that buck is still going to be roaming that ground.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, folks, we're visiting with Steve Stolz. We're going to come right back. Steve, hang on. I got to take a real quick break. We'll be right back on Buk Talk Radio on the Outdoor Call Radio Network.
OnX Hunt helps hunters be more successful in the field each season.
With maps of all public and private land and a fully functional GPS with
Happy New Year, everybody!
Trusted by over 6 million users.
Make sure if you got the app, you go over to the app before we get off the air tonight. I got something special to tell you.
Recent imagery updated every 2 weeks with historic look back and imagery on demand. On top of that, OnX is reinventing the trail camera market by syncing your Hunt app with multiple cell camera manufacturers and helping to organize and analyze your photos. You can also now view your maps in Dash when driving to your next hunting location. These are just a few of the many updates OnX has for this hunting season. Try OnX Hunt free for 7 days or go to onxmaps.com/hunt and use code X for 20% off your new OnX Hunt membership. Try OnX Hunt free for 7 days or go to onxmaps.com/hunt and use code X for 20% off your new OnX Hunt membership. Vanes are very important to your arrow flight and for consistent grouping. Flex Fletch and its fine lineup of products has been helping archers steer their arrows for over 50 years. Silent Night vanes are 30% thinner with a much greater taper than vanes out there. This contributes to a dramatic reduction of in-flight drag. Flex Fletch vanes also have the capability of reshaping or bounce back after pass-through shots on targets or game. This ensures consistent arrow flight every time. Flex Fletch offers a variety of colors, sizes, and styles for any archer to use in their setup. Whether it's for 3D indoor or hunting, Flex Fletch has the vane for you. To see these great vanes and adhesives like Zing or Flex Bond to get a great seal on your arrow when you fletch, go to your local dealer or flexfletch.com. Flex Fletch, proudly made in the USA, based out of Minnesota.
Hey guys, Jackie Bushman here with Buckmasters. When it comes to food plot seed and deer feed, the Mississippi-based Backwoods Attractions product line has you covered. From their food plot blends like Trophy Acre, Lazy Acre, Clover Deluxe, and the popular Dixie 6, to their attractants like Game Changer, Sweet Stuff, and Buck Robber. The best way to put it is, if you're not using Backwoods Attraction products, you better hope your neighbor isn't either. From small to large acreage, Backwoods Attraction has the feed and seed perfect for your hunting property. So do yourself a favor and swing by and support your local co-op or farm supply store and ask for Backwoods Attraction to set yourself up for a successful fall.
Let's talk about a story, an Iowa story about a dream that took several years to come true in Osceola, Iowa. It's the story of Revelton Distilling Company. These fine distilled whiskeys, gins, and vodkas were born from the labor of Rob and Christina Taylor. It's amazing hearing the customers' descriptions of how unique each bottle looks and how each spirit tastes and satisfies with every sip. From the honey whiskey to the whiskey and cream, or the robust mulberry gin, American gin, or vodkas. Revelton Distilling visitors can't believe the flavor profiles the mixologists are creating at the distillery every day. Revelton Distillery is open Wednesday through Sunday in Osceola. They're located at 1400 West Clay Street, right off I-35. Revelton Distillery fine spirits are also available at your local grocery and other retailers around Iowa. Please check them out online at reveltondistillery.com or visit them at the distillery. If it's time to celebrate or just time to sit back and unwind, well, then it's time for a Revelton moment.
All right, welcome back to the Buk Talk Radio Show with Outdoors Dan on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday all across the good old US of A. Got Steve Stolz on from the Drury Outdoors show and custom calls, and we're talking a little Buk Talk Radio tonight. Steve, I got to tell you, when we're done hunting, that's also one of the best times to get out there and do some scouting. What in the world are you doing, man? Are you making a lasagna, or what in the world are you doing?
I just got a bag out of turkey calls.
That's all right. That's all right. So, when you're done hunting, that's a good time, because if you bump a buck or whatever, and I like hunting right after, or scouting right afterwards, because I can find those scrapes and rubs that I might have missed, mark them on Onyx, and then, if I bump a deer, it's a long time until next October. You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Look, one of the two biggest factors to getting big whitetails and being successful with big whitetails is intrusion. Yeah. But make no mistake, intrusion we're talking about prior to hunting season and during hunting season. Post-season is a different story. All bets are off. They're on a feed pattern or a winter feed pattern. Go put some boots on the ground, and so you may bump out a buck or two around there. They're not leaving. Trust me.
Yeah.
They've lived there forever. They're experts at avoiding human pressure, and one or two walks through the woods, scouting trips, and tree stand hanging trips is not going to run your bucks out of there. What runs the bucks out is constant pressure. So, for instance, I'll just use an example. I'm not criticizing ATV use or anything like that, but when you have a farm where you're constantly riding bikes and riding ATVs and constantly having human interaction back on your property, that is what's going to move your deer, is that continuous. But, hey, let's face it, farmers are out in the field every other day with their tractors, with their equipment, and those deer don't go anywhere. They know, they get used to that.
Yeah.
So just be aware that intrusion means certain times of the year, but other times of the year, don't be scared to intrude. Go in, look, scout, put boots on the ground.
Absolutely. Robin, good to see you. Nice, brave the cold. I hear you there. Nick, good to see you. Nick, I'm sorry to hear about your loss. I saw that on Facebook earlier. Thank you for listening in on the East Coast. Gary Peck, good evening, Gary, up in Minnesota. Keep those northerns handy, buddy. If I get done early enough, I'm going to come up there and try and do some spearing with you up in northern Minnesota. So thanks, Gary. And best day to scout is the day after season ends, Scotty in Oklahoma. I agree with you 100%, Scotty. Thank you very much. Well, Steve, I told you this was going to go quick. It's nice to hear you. It's been a long time since I visited with you, and it was a fun, fast show. So I appreciate you coming on, making some time today.
was fast and furious. Thanks for having me. It's just tough to cover so much in such a short time, but I think we covered a lot of great information.
We'll get you back on it. I'm going to try to get everybody booked again after trade shows are over, and then we got a little downtime until turkey season. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you coming to St. Louis for the ATA?
I have got to do some. I've already got some stuff I got to do. Otherwise, it figures the one time it's going to be back home in St. Louis, I'm already obligated to do something else. So, but no, I wish I was. It'd be nice to see everybody.
Also, if anybody goes to the Iowa Deer Classic, I will be present at the Iowa Deer Classic. Some of myself and some of the Drury guys will be there. They'll have a turkey calling contest, and of course, the Iowa Deer Classic is just, in my opinion, the best deer show of the year. So if you haven't,
Yeah, stop by and say hi. We're usually in the aisle right by the show office. So actually, we'll have 3 booths this year right there off that. We're right there by Working Class Bow Hunters. So make sure you stop by and say hi.
Oh, absolutely. Love that show too. Kurt Geyer does a great job with that show.
Don't tell him; it'll swell his head.
Well, let's get together while we're at the show.
Yeah, I'd love to. I would love to see you, Steve. Hey, listen, you be safe and good luck the rest of the season. And again, tell everybody where they can find you.
WoodhavenCustomCalls.com, www.DruryOutdoors.com.
All right, Steve. Happy New Year, buddy, and be safe out there. There he goes, Mr. Steve Stolz. What a nice guy right there. He does a good job and always fun to talk to. All right, real quick. I want to tell you, we got a little bit of stuff I'm going to cover more on Saturday because I'm going to have 2 hours, but we're going to have that population management January antlerless season, and we're also late muzzleloader and bows back in effect, so I'll tell you more about that. And Norlander Socks has got a big sale going on right now. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook Live, so if you got the Outdoor Call Radio app, make sure you go and listen on the app because I'm going to tell you about something we got cooking. And I told everybody, I on these special announcements, I try to give that to the people that download the app and listen because I think they should get a little more bonus stuff. But you're going to want to listen here in a second. So I'm going to say goodbye to my Facebook crowd. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on the show. And until next Saturday, be safe out there and Happy New Year, everybody, if I don't talk to you before.